Okay. Well, I really have to insist on clarifying on when I said that I was concerned about some indecision, and Barbara has said rightfully that she did not vote for it, but she did not vote against it either. And I am very, very concerned about honestly the loss of that voice that I know had been speaking so well for us on previous issues. And it is the one issue that is keeping me very dedicated to this race and very dedicated to speaking out is this tax plan. So, and I don't think I mentioned the 1 cent sales tax last time. I would do whatever it took to get education funded.
I was absent. I was ill. Is why a no vote, and that was a fact. Wish I was healthier all the time. What I wanted to bring up today, just quickly, is the reality of the legislature. It is very difficult to be on the tax committee when the Speaker of the House is a conservative and chooses everyone that the committees are biased. He gets to pick. And so for us to put it on the table, the only way I think as moderates we can get this issue on the table is to potentially offer amendments. Amendments are very difficult to pass on the floor, particularly when the votes aren't necessarily there and people don't like amendments. They're too quick and they don't know the information well enough. Otherwise, you can only vote no for something. So important to know those distinctions.
Well, I just want to reiterate that I believe that this tax package is a high-risk plan for the state. I was not a supporter. I didn't like the process. The Speaker of the House called an emergency session, and basically it passed as a motion to concur when there was actually a conference committee that was working out a compromise plan. I think party politics and one party's agenda has gotten in the way, and I look forward to being a voice of moderation to help change the nature of that dialogue and discussion as we move forward.
I think this plan is completely irresponsible. It infringes upon the local government's ability to maintain quality communities, and it puts it on the back of lower and middle class residents, as well as potentially and probably crippling further our school systems. The way to actually attract a stronger economy is through quality of life issues, including excellent education, sound infrastructure, and strong cities and counties. I didn't answer the sales tax. It's a very personal issue for me as being on the city council, but I think strong schools are paramount to strong communities, and I think at this point, if that was what it took, everything needs to be on the table. So I would look at, I would be open to supporting a new 1 cent sales tax.
Again, still don't like the tax plan, so just clarifying that. Now, another thing that I did want to mention in regards to this is when we are thinking about the situation through which this tax plan passed, a lot of this was regarding various machinations that took place by House leadership. And I think that when Melissa mentioned earlier in her introduction how we don't want the Republican Party to be a stalwart conservative monolith, I want you all to consider that when you're casting your vote, the value that some moderation to the Republican Party will have for the entire state, thinking about the negotiations that Republicans like Barbara, Melissa, and I would be able to bring to the House.
I would say there's an easy solution to that, vote Democratic, but I'll avoid that. I'll just address the tax issue itself. I have an LLC. So I will actually benefit from this plan with the flow through on the wages. A lot of my clients have LLCs and LPs. They're going to benefit as well. And Kyle mentioned in his speech earlier that he was talking to one of his law partners, and they said, "I'm just going to take that and stick it in my pocket." That's what people are going to do with this tax plan. They're not going to create jobs. They're not going to hire new people. My afternoon and evening job is to train paralegals and get them out in the community. They're not going to get hired just because that law firm has extra money flowing with the partners. That's not going to happen. What drives hiring is demand. This tax plan does nothing to address demand. So it's fantasy. It's an experiment, and it's going to hurt our schools and our economic development.